Fans gathered. The Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs ran out at Arizona's State Farm Stadium.
These are live pictures.
Fans back in Oz were kicking off too.
Loving the atmosphere of the Super Bowl.
The US national anthem proved too much for some. And we were off to a flying start.
Ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this.
The first half was an arm wrestle.
Taking a shot. He's got it. Touchdown.
With big Aussie Jordan Mailata throwing his weight around.
The best offensive line in the league.
Sam got unprecedented access.
Take a look at this picture.
And ads that cost around $9 million to run did not disappoint.
I think I'm ready for this.
How you doing?
We're waiting. No! I said we're waiting.
A high-scoring first half led into Rihanna's halftime show. And she did it all while pregnant. Fair old effort. I couldn't even put on pants when I was pregnant.
I was bouncing up and down.
Elon and Rupert were glued to the second half action.
Well, you've got some brilliant minds in that photo. Rupert Murdoch, Elon Musk. Rupert pays our checks too, so that's always good.
And when Aussie Aaron Sipos stuffed this kick, the Chiefs were well on top.
A bad low-line drive punt by Aaron Sipos.
Miraculously, the Eagles drew level, but in the end, this dinky little Kansas field goal was enough for them to lift the trophy, 38-35.
Got it! And the Kansas City Chiefs have won Super Bowl 57!
Feel it. And on top of that, next time the Chiefs say something, put some respect on our name.
Congratulations.
We're going to celebrate this the right way.
Joining us now, Jordan Mailata's junior rugby league coach at the Bankstown Bulls, Richard Carews. Richard, look, it was a terrible result. I think we can all agree that American football is a stupid sport, but surely you are so proud of Jordan.
No, I'm very proud, obviously disappointed with the result like everybody else, but Jordan played above average, so really proud of his effort today. So a very controversial ending, but, you know, it happens in every sport, so what can you do?
Hey, as his rugby league coach all those years ago, how much of Jordan's success is down to you? How much glory can you claim?
Look, I can't really take any credit for his physique. I mean, that's just his genetics. You know, he was a phenomenal athlete back in the day. What I tried to instill in him was just be a good person. You know, go hard. You know, don't give up. Even in obviously when the NRL told him that he wasn't good enough to play in their competition, you know, he still had a dream to do something, and he chased that dream.
Richard, as a man of a small stature myself, just how big was a young Jordan?
Mate, look, he was 203 centimetres. Like, you know, he was massive. Like I said, we used to have issues every weekend. The other team wouldn't believe his age. You know, like they'd ask to produce the birth certificate because, you know, like it was just one of those things. There's no way this kid's 14 years old. You know, even when he was 15, you know, and kids were catching up. You know, he was just still. He dwarfed everybody else on the field, and obviously me. I'm 5'0".
He's a man of many talents, so we know he can sing, right? He was on The Masked Singer. Did he ever do that sort of thing in the locker room?
Yeah, absolutely. Like after a game or after a training session, they'd pull out the guitars and they'd start singing. I mean, his voice is obviously, he's been able to keep the voice that he had, obviously through puberty. You know, he's been able to maintain it because obviously he was on The Masked Singer and did really, really well. You know, like, good on him. Yeah, no, he had a voice of an angel back then.
Richard, back to the Super Bowl. At halftime, you must have been thinking he's got a real chance here to be the first Australian to actually play in a winning Super Bowl side. They just dominated the Philly Eagles for the first half, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a testament, like I said, to the offence. They started really, really well. They scored in their first drive of the game. And like I said, you score 35 points in a game, you expect to win. It's just that, like, you got one of the greats playing for Kansas City. But, you know, he can hold his head up high. You know, he played amazing. I mean, he was instrumental in one of Jalen Hurts' touchdowns, you know, making way for him. And, like, I mean, I don't think the quarterback got sacked once, and that's how you judge Jordan, based on those statistics. And, like I said, their quarterback probably should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl, but unfortunately, they don't generally give MVPs to the losing side. So, like I said, he had a phenomenal game. He should be really proud.
Oh, you're really proud, Richard. It's great to hear that coming through. Thanks so much for speaking to us, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, well done, Jordan. But can we just have a moment just to commend Rihanna on her halftime performance? Not only did she slay it, she did it while casually growing a human, making brain matter and feet and hands and eyes and all that kind of thing. I mean, I couldn't get off the couch after 7:30, and here she is, just rocking it. But I also loved, she didn't announce that she was pregnant until after the halftime show, and no one really wanted to ask whether she was pregnant or not because it was so close. She's got a 10-month-old as well.
Where do you place that in comparison to the AFL Grand Final?
What do you mean the event?
That whole event. From beginning to end.
I mean, AFL Grand Final's way in front. What are you talking about, Steve? Obviously, the Super Bowl.
I don't think so.
That was a joke, obviously.
I mean, what they do there is extraordinary.
I mean, what they do with a terrible, terrible sport is amazing.
You don't like it?
Well, look, I'd like it a lot more if we'd won, because Australia was obviously playing that game, and I didn't notice Rihanna because she's not Australian.
Well, the average cost of a ticket was $10,000.
Yeah, I know,
so we wouldn't be able to afford to go anyway.
Rihanna also had no friends. Normally during the Super Bowl performance, there's a bunch of other guests joining. She did it all by herself.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Anyway.